So I apologize, this video is late. I said I was going to get it out yesterday evening, but it's taking me longer than I expected on my poster because it's so much bigger. I'm used to doing ones that are 8.5 by 11, you know, printer paper size, and this one is really large. So yesterday it took me pretty much all day to get the layout designed, to get everything cut out and the stencils laid on, and the words painted. So today I'm going to work on getting it all grungy and waterproofed and ready to go. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm getting started on my sign, and as you can see, this is nothing but a yellow poster board I got from Dollar Tree. And then I printed out these words. Well, I created the words on my graphics program, and then I used my Cricut to cut out these really nifty stencils. So now I'm getting them taped down where I want them, and I'm slowly coloring them in, and then once I peel these off, I'll go back and fix these letters here so they'll be solid words. So for right now, all I'm doing is just laying these out and coloring them in, and then we'll move on to step number 2. Okay, so I have stenciled down all of my words, and they're all finished, and so now it's just time to make it look like a metal sign. So I have my brown paint and my rust colored paint, and also this brown paint, which I think is the same color as this one, so I probably need one or the other, but this one's old, so I got this one just in case. So I'm going to get started, and like I said in my last videos, if you look at pictures of real rusted antique signs, you can see the patterns of where to rust. So around the outside edges through here are going to be really bad. If you're going to make it look like it is nailed or screwed in place, then these corners will also be rusted really bad. And then just a little bit of minor rust around here, so not as bad. So we're going to hit the corners really good and do a little bit in here. And like I said in my last videos, I start with a lighter color just because you can't really screw that up. So I do light all around all the corners and a little bit in the front, and then I'm going to come back with the dark, and I'm going to hit around the edges, especially the top, which is where the rain would come in really good. So around the top and the two sides here, and really rounding out those corners in the front, and then do a little bit down here because mine is going to be screwed in on all 4 corners, so these areas will also need it. So let's get started with that. So I have my really thick dry brushing brush that I love, and I've got my brown paint here, and so I'm just going to, just like when you're dry brushing, try to get as much off as possible, and then I'm going to start hitting these corners just like this. And rust would be pretty prominent because this is a big sign, so really this right here is probably my rust line. So then I'll get all up in there better. And if you notice when you're watching rust, because we do this all the time, when you are looking at things that rust, it comes in little dots. So like I have a metal door on the front of my craft building, and it has all of these little tiny metal dust spots all in it. And so this is actually a very good representation of what it looks like all over that door. And I'll get darker as I go more inward and lighter as I go out. And I'm just going to keep filling this in just like this. And so you get the idea. I'm going to do the rest of the sign in brown, and then we'll come back and do the dark. In watching my last video, I realized I made a mistake. I didn't explain it better. I'm going to get lighter in color as I go inward into the sign this way, and darker as I go to these outer corners, because this outer corners are going to look so dark brown they almost look black, and so lighter as I go inside. I didn't make that very clear a second ago. Okay, back to it. So now I'm just following the same steps as I did before. I realized you couldn't see last time. I'm just taking my darker paint and just getting the majority of it off until there's not a whole lot on the brush. And then I'm just going to go around these outer edges You know what? I should probably put something. This will do. Ruining my table. Okay, I'm just going to go around these edges right here, and I'm going to make the edges completely dark, and then just slowly start feathering that in so that it disappears into the brown. Just like that. Super simple. Just like that. So now I'm going to go around this whole sign. And you can really see, this is the fun part. This is where the magic happens. And you know, I love doing these because, first of all, a sign this big, if I had bought it, would have been really expensive. But all of the zombie signs have blood all over them, and I don't need a bloody zombie sign. I need just a rusted sign. So this is perfect for me because I can make exactly what I want, exactly the size that I want. And maybe you're not doing zombie, maybe you're doing, I don't know, an old rundown clown or an asylum or, you know, whatever, and you want your sign to be the name of your haunt or, you know, something like that. This gives you the freedom to build whatever you want, to say whatever you want, and I have 69 cents in this sign. That's how much it cost me to make it, because I already had the paint and the you know, the paper that I used to make the stencils was free. So, you know, you just can't get better than that. So I love, love, love building something. Even if I could buy it, I think I would still prefer to make it myself, because then it's really your own, you know. No one else is going to have another sign like this. Nobody else is going to have, you know, whatever it is. So I always go for making my own if I can, and if time permits. And sorry, I told you guys that this was going to be out yesterday, but I didn't take into consideration the size of this darn thing. This thing is massive, and so it took me that long to get all of the stencils cut out and laid out properly. And so I'm hoping I can still get this thing out today. I have to still wait for this to dry. Although the good thing about this dry brushing technique is it dries super fast. By the time I get to the other end of the sign, this front part will probably be done. So I can go ahead and polyurethane it, and once I do that, the sucker is sealed. And you know, I made those signs, I'll link to the bottom if I think about it, to the original signs that I made, and I polyurethaned those with, well, I'll tell you later exactly what it is I used. But those signs, I said I only needed them out for a day, but we ended up leaving some of the walls up, and I found signs this year that were outside in the rain. So that was 2 years ago. So they've been out in the rain for over 2 years, and they still look brand new. And that was on, that was just on regular printer, the thicker printer paper. What's it called? I didn't sleep good last night, y'all. My brain is not working. I did one coat of polyurethane on the front and back, and then I went back and looked at it in the light, because you can see wherever you put that sealer on, it gets a little shiny, and I just looked to see which parts of the paper might have absorbed it and it wasn't shiny, and I went back and did those one more time, and then I could really see, you know, what I needed to go over, and so I just made sure the whole thing was super shiny, and that stuff, I mean, it lasted forever. So I am not at all concerned about finishing the sign and hanging it outside tomorrow, and you know, having it last until October. And I am rambling. I'm going to have to cut a lot of this off because y'all don't want to hear me just sit here and ramble. So that's probably enough for me, you know, to show you guys how I'm doing it. Let me finish this sign without you guys having to stare at me, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're down to the final part. So I'm going to take my Hellmann's Spar Urethane. I love this one, this Minwax one, because even though it says clear satin, it always goes on with a yellowish tint. It won't be that important with this one because the paper is already yellow. But if you were doing this with white, with the white thicker printer paper, or a white poster board, then that's really going to help you with the aging. And as you can tell, I love my Dollar Tree table covers, and I love my Dollar Tree paintbrushes. Everything is disposable. So I'm just going to give it a really good paint. This is pretty self-explanatory. And you can see as you go along, there's going to be areas where you get it really thick and it stays shiny. But then there's going to be areas where you don't get it as thick and the paper soaks it up and it'll look duller. Duller, is that a word? Duller? More dull. Dull, it'll look dull. So as I go, I kind of check the lighting and go back over it, because I really would prefer to just do this one coat and be done, because I've got a pile of other things to move on to after this. So if I can give it a really good coating this first time around, flip it over, do the back, and then I can hang it up and be done. And you know, really pay attention to these edges, because of course when you're hanging it up, that's where all the rain's going to come. But I really love doing these signs. They're a lot of fun. This one was a lot more work than normal because I did have to hand do the entire sign. I had to cut out the stencils and you know, paint it on, whereas with the smaller ones I could just print the sign out and go, and it's so much quicker. Just depends on whether you can use a 8.5 by 11 or smaller sign, or if you need like a really big one like this one. But this seems to be going on really good. And then I'm going to give it a chance to get really dry, and then I will flip it over and do the back side. And then once that's dry, we can hang it up on my zombie building and see how it's going to look. And also, I don't know if I mentioned this in one of the past videos or not, but Randy did order me some of that black and yellow caution tape. I mean, it doesn't say caution, it's just the black and yellow lines, horizontal, diagonal lines, and it's sticky tape. So I'm going to use that to do around the windows on that zombie house. Maybe around the sign if it looks too boring out there. And, you know, really make it look cool. Plus, we didn't get a chance to try the yellow flashing light the other night when we did the live test. I completely forgot. So, we need to do that again sometime soon, just to see the whole thing. Maybe once we get the tape in and get it all put up. But let's see, everything looks shiny to me. So I think that's a really good first coat. Here's my sign all up on the side of the building, all completely finished. And I love how it turns out. It just fits right into the wall there, so it looks really good. I'm going to put these stencils up on my website if you would like to download those and print those off to make your own sign like this. I will put the link in the description down below for that. But I really like it. I love how it turned out. It looks really cool, and it just really sets the stage for this building. So I hope you guys enjoyed this project. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I had done this in a smaller scale a couple years ago, so it was fun to go back to that and do an even bigger one for this year. So I hope that you enjoyed it. Please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not yet a subscriber, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and keep doing props with me throughout the season. I don't know yet when my next video is going. I've been trying to do them daily every other day, but Hurricane Irma is thinking about coming for a visit. So I've got to kind of keep an eye on that. We may be having to take down all of our facades that we've built and get them laid down and put away in case we have some high winds, because we are in South Carolina. We're inland, so we are not in the we're just outside of the line of evacuation areas, so we don't have to evacuate, so that's good, but we do have to prepare, you know, just in case we get some bad stuff. I'm imagining if it does hit, I'm sure we'll have power outages. The last big thing that came through, we were without power for about 10 days. So this week's going to be a little bit about trying to get ready for that. So I don't think you guys want to see that. I don't think that's worth filming. But if I get some projects done, we'll certainly put them up. And I hope to have another video out again really soon. And those of you who are in the path of this hurricane, stay safe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.